Golden State Warriors are positioning themselves to win the 2024 NBA title, and I'm going to tell you why. With training camp less than a month away, the Warriors news is starting to ramp up, and with that, we're getting a better sense of what the final roster heading into the season will look like. The Warriors have 13 players signed to guaranteed contracts, which means they have 2 roster spots open heading into training camp, setting this up as one hell of a training camp competition for the last 1 or 2 roster spots. Rudy Gay has reportedly signed a 1-year deal with Golden State, where he'll compete for one of the team's open roster spots in camp. So the phrasing here can be a little confusing with the 1-year deal part, but the key words are where he'll compete for the team's open roster spot in camp. This means the deal is most definitely non-guaranteed, or at most very lightly guaranteed, which means if Rudy Gay comes into camp and he's looking washed, the Warriors can cut him before the season starts, with little to no financial ramifications. It's essentially no downside to signing him to this deal. Rudy Gay is coming off a terrible age 36 season, and now he's in a situation where he doesn't have enough leverage to command a fully guaranteed vest minimum contract anymore. If Rudy Gay is going to make the team, he's going to have to earn it by outplaying the competition in camp, and proving to the coaching staff he still has something left in the tank. Because if we're being honest, Rudy looked kind of cooked these past few years in Utah, but you never know. He was an aging vet on a young team that wasn't competing. Sometimes having a change of scenery and being put back in a winning environment can invigorate a vet. Also, he has the benefit of playing with better players that can cover for his deficiencies and put him in a better position to succeed. Now, let's say theoretically he still has something left. The Warriors will be looking to see if he can still provide 2 main things at the power forward spot: rebounding and competent 3-point shooting. Think of a less versatile and less consistent Otto Porter from 3, but still capable of knocking down open threes. Now, I'm not saying Rudy Gay is an Otto Porter replacement, but what I am saying is that assuming Rudy does have something left to contribute, he can theoretically provide some aspects of what Otto gave you, but on a lesser scale. Rudy is nowhere near the player Otto was in 22, but he's a 17-year vet that knows how to play, knows where to be, and provides a little more size along the front line at 6'8". Now, me personally, I'm cautious of adding Rudy Gay based off how he's looked the last few years in Utah, but in order for him to make the team, he's gonna have to beat out dudes younger and hungrier than him to get a roster spot. This training camp competition should bring out the best of him. I guess we'll find out soon enough how much he has left. One of the dudes Rudy Gay has to beat out is Klay Thompson's arch nemesis, Rodney McGruder. Yeah, the Warriors brought in that dude that Klay and Draymond clown at one time.
And then Klay's figuring out what's going on over there, Klay.
Rodney McGruder.
Oh, no, this dude might be out the league soon. He's probably mad about that. Who knows?
Wow, shots fired.
He's over here checking my guy. You good?
Everybody seems to be okay, and everybody's going to their respective locker rooms there. But
yeah, I don't know.
That's savage.
5 over Warriors here trying to start something like he's a good player or something. It's like, bro,
easy,
get out of here. You might be. Sorry. All right, we're done.
Easy.
We're done.
In there with McGruder.
I don't know. I was in the locker room, but apparently he was taking up for Wayne Ellington. When the Rodney McGruder become the tough guy of the team? Like, I don't know, man. Everybody in the league tough these days. It's crazy. I've seen a lot of tough guys this year. I don't understand it, and don't nobody do anything. So, like, if you really wanted to do something, you could have done it. Over there talking like he's a team tough guy. Get the hell out of here. Tough guy, Rodney. Tough guy.
Klay and Draymond flamed his ass. It's funny as hell that they're teammates now. I mean, at least for now, because I don't see McGruder making the team. I think he's essentially just a training camp body. Here's the word on what Golden State's apparently looking for with that 14th spot heading to training camp. Recent reports indicate that the Golden State Warriors are ideally looking for a glue guy who won't be a distraction in a locker room already filled with several strong personalities. Now, when I read this quote, immediately it makes sense why they didn't sign Dwight Howard. Howard might be able to contribute to an extent, but I don't think the Warriors felt his contributions as a 14th man is worth bringing another strong personality into the locker room. Whenever you hear Dwight talk about himself and what he's done in this league, even at age 37, it's obvious he still thinks very highly of his capabilities. How is that ego going to spill out when he doesn't sniff the court for 5 games in a row? Or if he sits an entire playoff series because it's a bad matchup? The Warriors aren't trying to deal with that, especially from someone who's at most going to be a situational big. After all the locker room drama last season, I don't blame the Warriors for being out on adding a dude with an ego at the end of the bench. But moving on, Steve Kerr and Mike Dunleavy spoke to the media in preparation for training camp, and they had a few interesting takeaways from the presser that got me even more hyped for the season.
I think signing Dario was huge for our team. He is really the kind of player that fits us well, a little bit like Bjelica a couple of years ago. He's a different player than Belly, but there's a similar style in terms of his ability to connect the game with shooting and passing and court awareness. Dario's bigger than Belly. He's a very physical player, but he's going to fit us well either as a 5 or, playing in a 2 big lineup as well. So I think his addition made all of us feel very comfortable going into camp at that spot.
Kerr compared Dario Saric to a bigger, more physical Bielitsa. That sounds like a pretty damn useful player for the Warriors. Dario's connective passing and three-point shooting at 6'10" is going to be invaluable to the Warriors in terms of connecting lineups. Saric can play with anyone and can fit in any lineup combination. He's going to be a key player for us. Next up, let's hear what Steve Kerr had to say about Kuminga.
I'm excited about JK. He's had a really good summer. I was getting reports routinely when I was overseas, and the coaches were all raving about him, saying, that he's really worked hard and understood, what's needed from him. I think it'll be very helpful for him to play with Chris Paul. Chris has a way of making the game easier for people. I anticipate them spending some time on the court together and Chris helping to unlock some of that potential. Otherwise, he's in his third year and getting better and working hard, and he's right on track to get where he needs to go. So I'm excited.
It sounds like Kuminga had a great offseason and did everything asked of him by the coaches. This is a pivotal year in his development, so it's good to hear he's been putting in a lot of work. Now, it's interesting that Kerr specifically mentioned a Chris Paul-Kuminga pairing. He really thinks Chris Paul's going to be able to unlock JK, which is something I've been saying since the trade happened. Kuminga's the key to everything. If he takes a year 3 leap that we all expect him to, it completely transforms this Warriors team and raises their championship ceiling. Barring injury, Mike Dunleavy put this team in great position to win it all this season. Anyways, that's all I got for y'all. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Trust me, it's much appreciated. Training camp's less than a month away, so stay tuned for more content. I'll holla at you on the next one. Peace.